Welcome all to our mentorship event, which is a workshop here. And the topic is Think Like a Technical Writer. And in this, all we are going to do is do some activities where we will have to think. I'm not here to teach anything about writing. It's the session is overall dependent upon your interaction, where I will try to bring in different samples, activities. All of you will need to be active to work as an individual. And in between, we will be creating some rooms also. And so this is completely about the most important thing for a technical writer, and that is thinking. Writing comes second. So this is what you see on agenda. This is what we are going to cover. We have divided the session into 5 parts primarily. Every part will have some activity. Some will have individual activity, some will have team activity. Okay. So before we get started, a bit of introduction about who we are, Tech Writers Tribe. Most of you might be already knowing all this, but so we will move pretty fast. So we are primarily a platform of technical writers, and we started as a community in March 2020. So it's like 6 years plus now. And we have participants and followers from different countries, different parts of India, overall around 25,000 members here and there. We solely work on this motto, share, care, and prepare, where we primarily conduct multiple kind of activities where we have also have different groups, WhatsApp groups and Slack groups. Slack group is less active right now, but WhatsApp group is certainly there where you have groups for your city and you have groups for specific topics. In case you're not part of it, feel free to ping us and we will add you there. Overall, the goal is, why is this motto? Motto is because many people keep on saying that technical writers are not valued. So with all these efforts, where different technical writers, seniors, juniors join hand, our whole effort is that they get skilled, they get confident, and whatever be the trend or the new technology, they learn that faster and they do work that can get them respect, value, and they feel confident. That's the simple goal that we have. And for that, we conduct multiple kind of online activities and offline activities also. For online, we have different webinars, workshops, and then we have mentorship events like this. In the 6 years plus, we have conducted more than 370 events, online events, and then we have offline conferences in seven different cities of India. So far, we have conducted, and overall, we have social media presence and YouTube channel where all the recordings go. Even today's recording will be available publicly in the on our YouTube channel, and so this is what we have in terms of group, which helps people to interact. We have groups for individual contributors. We have groups for leaders also. So if any of you are a leader, documentation and leading a documentation team, and if you're not part of our leadership WhatsApp group, feel free to ping and you will be added there. So this overall is the personal individual level activities, and on platform we are conducting different kind of activities. All of you can come forward, join hands. When you prefer to share some knowledge, feel free to ping us and we will find something that suits your knowledge. And so with this, we hope that if you have been involved with us for a long time, you are enjoying and you are liking what we are doing. In case you have something new in mind, feel free to let us know what else you want us to do that can help you and that can help the community. Request for this particular workshop, as I said, this is a workshop and this is about thinking. This is not about writing at all. I'm not going to give you any exercise where you have to write. It's all about realizing how much power you have as a technical writer, the technical writing mindset that we talk about. Okay. So here, the more we will interact, the better it will be, the faster it will be for ourselves to learn. There will be recording provided. And yeah, please stay on mute unless you're speaking. And when you're speaking, please make sure your background is not having any kind of noise. And those of you who are meeting me first time, this is me. And you can read what's there. It should be there in the website also. So now this is all we have. And we have got 7 members. So we can, when required, we can easily have different rooms also where some of you can go ahead and interact. So right now let's get started. So in this workshop, the goal is everything you need to diagnose what makes a piece of documentation unclear, so that you need to think and diagnose and then apply whatever the decision process you think is suitable for a documentation task. In that process, what do? We interact with SMEs, right? So before interacting, you should have the art of identifying the right questions. For that also, we will be having activities. And overall, now we are working with AI. So when you are working with AI, just using a tool, using any tool is not enough, right? You have to figure out whether the content you get from AI that is good or not. So for that also what you will do, we will have some exercises. And the biggest challenge, everybody even in the groups keep on discussing like documentation, and there are memes. Last minute you will get some information and it will be like, okay, complete it within 1 minute, things like that. So under real world constraints, at times it can be about timeline, at times it can be about less information. You don't have complete information. So in that situation, how will you act? So these are the scenarios, and these are the scenarios that we will try to cover. And let's see how it goes. So all of you, all set? Ready to actively participate? Can I see some hands, something, just to show? Yeah. Okay. So one thing, one disclaimer. I have a lot of activities, and those activities are not like one type of activities. But we have 2 hours time. For every activity, I have myself practiced and checked the timing, kept the buffer timing also, because probably everybody might not think as fast or as slow I can, right? But the only thing is there will be time limit. So if we see that overall the time taken is too long, we may have to skip some, although you will see that in the slide. So now it completely depends upon how fast and how quick your reactions are. So let's warm up a bit. I'm sharing something. Just read it. If it's not readable, please let me know. Read it, whatever you can see. And please be ready to unmute yourself. So now, if you have read it, can I get some answer for this question? If you think something is wrong there, what's wrong with this? Yeah, you don't need to raise hand. Feel free to talk.
It's not structured properly.
It's
It has to be listed.
Unstructured.
okay.
Yes, it has to be
Structured,
listed into a procedure.
right?
It should be in ordered list.
Ordered list. Wonderful. Samid, what did you say?
Yeah, the ordered list is missing. Yeah.
Ordered list. Okay. Vamsi, is that your hand raised for answer? Please don't raise hands. Just to speak up when asked. Any
It's
other
not clear
point?
which package where need to install and what is the configuration kind of things.
Good. Okay, so we have, yeah,
Yeah, like instead of starting it as before you begin, we can give it something like a prerequisite.
we can give a prerequisite. Okay, so we have wonderful points. Try to remember what you hear from others and what you speak, okay? Now, if you will like to rewrite it, what would you change first? Remember, I'm not asking about the whole list. What would you change first? Give me one thing.
Maybe the heading itself.
Wonderful. Any other thoughts? All agree to heading only.
Before and after heading an overview of what is going to come in the next few lines. An
Okay.
introduction of the heading. That is
Yeah, introduction should be there so that what can be expected in this
Yeah.
section.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, so what I think you all mean is that after the heading, what we write, some kind of description that we write, right?
A short description.
Short description. Yeah. Okay, good. So now the third question. Now read it again and see what information is missing from your perspective. Please try to be think deeply. Okay. Take your time.
The sync method and the flags, what it
Okay.
means.
Okay.
It can be procedural and we can add some more information.
Okay. So more information plus
By step by step.
plus
Yeah.
steps.
Also,
Presentation.
the prerequisite, what needs to be configured needs to be, I mean, elaborated, right? Like if just saying ensure environment is configured doesn't mean anything. You have to give information on what needs to be configured, right? Yeah, so that is missing, I think.
Okay, wonderful.
And it says appropriate flags, what those flags are. We need to be clear over there.
So references are not clear.
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, so when you see the context, do you realize who could be the audience?
The client,
No, the client is when you talk about, okay,
the end
client
user,
is big, right? Bigger
IMP and
umbrella.
the person who uses this,
So the user, end user.
end user.
Okay.
Maybe like administrators or technical person.
Okay, that's zeroing in. Wonderful. So, I mean, all of you who know, that's pretty good. All of you have heard about the term, there are two terms when we talk about audience. One is the audience that we generally say that, okay, who is our audience? Other is when you bifurcate audience further, you know the term user persona? Heard about, right?
Yes.
User persona. So when we say end user, okay, end user is also one kind of user, but user persona is more about role. So like one of you answered admin, right? So it's role oriented. So from a user persona perspective, can you figure out admin is one
Operational
answer?
users and admin users.
Operational users and admin users. Cool. That's good going. Let's see some possible answers. Just see if it's matching to your thing or probably is. So technically, it's more of a generic. Yeah, there are words used, but in a very clear way. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, Punit, I can.
Yeah, we can hear you.
yes, we can.
Yeah, power cut. Okay. So audience is not very clear. Basically, we have to assume a lot. And many of you already mentioned the steps, terms are not familiar. Those are undefined terms. References, somewhere there is the line, refer to the appendix. But where is this appendix? Where do I refer? Then the text is written, but often we say in technical writing, right, that when you write something, provide some example also, right? So there is no some kind of help, no example commands, nothing. And yeah, there are confusions. If you encounter errors, check your log. Check your logs, what to check in the logs. Logs, if you all know, logs contain a lot of information. Every action that happens on a system generates one log. Everybody's aware about that? That is called a log report, which is not visible to us generally. We have to ask for it. So that log report is complete activity, whatever happens on system. Okay, whatever you generate, whatever you save, system crashes, everything goes into log report. So they have to tell that, okay, in log is a huge thing, what to check. Okay, so more or less agree here. Any other thoughts?
I mean, those tech writing rules, like start with a verb, that is also should be stated, right?
Yes, the how to write is completely missing there.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. Thank you so much, all of you. So that was just for warm up. Now some real activity. So as a tech writer, you understand very well that almost at every step, your ability to take a decision is very crucial. We talk about DDLC, we talk about project management. That is very crucial. Yes, based on your experience level, it sharpens. The more you are experienced, it sharpens based on that. Okay. So this decision time, here we will check as per instinct, under pressure especially. How do you decide? For that, I have some poll questions. You will answer those poll questions. It will appear here in the message itself. And after that, we will have discussion one by one. For all of them, we will have quick discussions also. Okay, Vamsi, I see your hand raised. Do you want to say something?
No.
Okay. Okay, so let's go with the poll questions. It will pop up right on your screen, and how you will vote, you can see in the chat also. So it's coming up. Let me know if in 10 seconds it's not visible to you. Hope it is visible.
Can there be multiple options?
No. The question is, what do you do first, right? So first you can do only one thing, right? Of course, you can do all of those, but what is the first thing? And remember, while I'm answering, what do you do first? There must be some logic in your mind. Why are you doing that? We will discuss that. First answer. All of you think and answer. I see only two responses so far. Are you all thinking or is it not visible?
I don't have the poll feature in my Teams, so I'll send a answer in the chat.
Okay, it's fine. So that is also fine. You can just type it. Identify the audience, interview the developer. Cool. So in the chat, we have two identify audience, one interview the developer. Somebody else is trying to type two interview the developers. And in poll, we see 4 for interview the developers. Nobody has gone for screenshots. Wonderful. Okay, yeah, I can see the result of 6 responses. Those who are able to vote, they do not need to type. Okay, so the primary thing is interview the developer or identify the audience. Okay, now what is this question? Let's see here. A developer sends you a 15-page, oh my God, power cut. Again, am I gone? Okay, back. So a developer sends you a 15-page design document. What do you do first? So I can say the answers are primarily tied on interview the developer versus identify the audience. Let's see, what do we have? The explanation. The strongest answer, as for me, is identify the audience. You see the reason. If anybody disagrees, please feel free to unmute and say. Or if you want to talk. Do you agree?
I have a question like as a tech writer, if I am unable what what the developer has provided this document or what kind of the development of software they are developing, my own how I can decide my own where the audience is particularly for the some field officer or some of the trainee or some of the manager. So I think from my side, first we need to talk with the developer that for what purpose they are giving the particular feature or particular things where we need this kind of document. So first thing is to interview with the developer from my side.
Wonderful point. Anybody has an answer to it?
Punit, from my point of view, even to identify the audience, you need to first go and ask the developer for whom that particular document is intended for.
Okay, fair enough.
Even I feel the same. Like, first I wanted to understand what kind of I mean, like, I know it's a design document for what the document is for. I mean, so more about the documentation and what are the things that developers expecting out of this document. So that's where I feel, first we need to talk to developer.
Wonderful. And people who voted for identify the audience, what's your say?
So when they give the document, so minimum details will be there, right? Like whether it is software installation or any upgradation.
Right.
So you know the minimum topic what it is. So since you are working with the developer for the previous documents, maybe you have some idea to whom it will go according to the topic. So that's why I choose identify the audience. If you are working with him first time, and if you are developing this kind of document first time, then I agree you need to discuss with the developer first to understand more.
Okay, so that's a very wonderful point, and others have also said nice things. The only thing I think, let me clarify one point here. When we say identify the audience, yes, there are different mechanisms. You can ask product manager or BAs, whomsoever, that's a different thing. And when we say talking to the interviewing the developer, there your one question might be identify the audience. Okay, if you're going to ask 10 questions to the developer, your one question may be, and as part of that, you are feeling that talking to the developer, interviewing the developer is primary thing. Now think about a sequence. And all of you feel free to, disagree with me. It's not a lecture, my perspective. I get, the question is, what am I getting? Let me see the question. I get some design document. I open the document. Do I have the capability to understand the design document? Probably yes, because I'm working there already. It is not mentioned that you are a new technical writer, so I'm working there already. But every product has different user personas. When I am reading the document, do you agree that first you do have an audience in mind so that you read the document from the audience perspective. Do you agree to that?
Not necessarily. Not
No?
every time.
No.
No. So if I am reading a document, don't I need to understand whether the context is suitable to admin, whether the context is suitable to the end user, whether the context is suitable to the non-technical? I mean, how will you judge the content? Based on what parameter? There should be some parameter to judge the content, right?
Yes.
Based on the technicalities of the information which is available in the document, the technical
Yes.
aspects here.
So if it is too technical, but if you have this information that this is for end user is non-technical user. Okay. That this content is for non-technical user. And then when you are reading the document, then you realize, oh, there are too much technical information here. So this will not be suitable to the end user. But if you don't have the user clarity at all first, then you read the document, so you read in a general perspective. So this is where generally it is said first that audience should be, it's better to understand for whom we are writing. Then we will be able to figure out from what perspective to say. That's the whole soul thing. Yes, I completely agree with all the answers here, but think from that perspective. We can come out of technical writing. Probably uh, you have you want to tell a story in your family. In your family, yeah, there are elderly persons. In your family, there are probably your partner or brothers, sisters, same age group, kind of. And then there are kids. So you have the story in your hand. Now, these three are three different age groups and three different types of audience. How will you present that story? Before presenting the story, do you think to whom you are talking? Or first you go through the story and then decide how to talk? If my example is very
Yeah, we do decide before speaking to, different family members. But I think in technical writing, it's sometimes it's difficult for a technical writer to decide the audience. And
no, completely agree here. Sometimes it's difficult. That is why it is our job to find out the audience
yeah,
first.
yes,
On your own, you may not.
you may not. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So first, what do you do before working on anything? The best practice could be first find out. Now, from whom you are going to find out the audience, that's a different story. Whether the developer will tell you, whether the product manager will tell you, that varies from company to company. But the point is understanding the audience a priority or not?
It is. This will help in
Yes,
future.
that's the first priority.
So based on that logic, here, Atlas, the answer is this. But yeah, those of you who still feel that, okay. And here I just want to say that when you are asking this question to the developer, then that doesn't mean that, okay, interviewing the developer is including that question, then fine. So that is where this is interviewing the developer comes second. Weak options, which is very clear. So I don't need to explain. None of you selected all that. So okay, any other points anybody wants to mention?
Yes. So before interviewing the developer, there are two things that we want to do. First is identifying the audience, and second is understanding the feature that is being written about in the design document. So we need to understand that feature, we need to analyze it and have our questions ready before we go to developer. So even if you're not
Exactly.
sure about the audience, we need to have our questions about the features also ready. So there are less
Of
to and fro
course.
with the developer.
Yeah, of course. And I think that goes as part of the art of in interacting with an SME, like what Anubhav is mentioning. Before going, we should have some questions in our mind. And one step ahead is when you set up a meeting, mail those questions. Instead of thinking that making it a live podcast where you will just ask any question and expect them to be, give them some time. You will, if you have a set of questions, okay, these are the set of questions that I have thought of so far, include the disclaimer. By the time of meeting, I may have some more questions. So this gives a good reason for them also to be seriously prepared. Good. Moving on. Poll number 2. For those of you poll is not working, you can simply type A, B, C, D, whatever, instead of writing the whole sentence. And anywhere, if something in the question or answer is a bit confusing, please do ask. Okay, so I can see so far in the poll 5 votes for option B. In chat also, I can see all the options for B. Wonderful. So here it looks like we have unanimous decision. Fine, let's see what's the explanation. Oh, sorry. Wait a second. Just give me 1 second. I think this slide has the old answer. So yes, B is the reason, certainly, even by my thing. So can anyone tell the reason? Why did you think B? And why don't you think something else could be the answer?
Because if we get access, we can try what are the options available. We can do some exploring work and decide further.
Right.
We
And
can
getting
explore.
hands-on, I mean, making hands dirty is the best way, right? So learning right directly from that is the best. Okay, so yep, so that's how I'm just trying to get you the answers for others also, for other things also. I'm trying to update the slide. So other options, of course, not applicable. And B is and this is actually wherever we can, even in product documentation, generally that's what we try to do, right? That the approach is simple. First, try to work on the test it. So yeah, if we get sandbox, So this is pretty clear. So that's, I think, pretty smooth. Let's move to, I think I have a few more poll questions. Uh, Question 3 should be visible. Okay, so this number 3, B, all B. Wonderful. So pushback. It's not only about stakeholders. Many times we may get into the situation where somebody like the director or even our manager or somebody who comes up with some kind of request which is probably not falling as per the logic, right? So yeah, we do need to push back. There has to be some kind of discussion. Probably, if you want, just to follow D also if it's simply unavoidable. But yes, B is the right choice. Okay, so that's it. And then total 5 we have poll questions. So we are going good. Let's talk about the API documentation a bit. If you are aware how API documentation works. If you're not aware, then just take a good guess. Mhm. Okay, so almost everyone is voting for C. Others who are not voting, 5, ask the developer. Okay, so ask the developer to confirm which is correct. So yes, that's what it is. So it's like, believing the horse's mouth directly rather than hanging around here and there using the risky options of others. So primarily C. Wonderful, great going we are so far. Let's pull in the last one. So decision making is very tricky at times for us. There we do need to analyze what exactly we want to do. But yes, we will have to make some strong decisions at times, which may not be very popular. Here comes your last one. We are writing for technical users. It has to be technical, isn't it? Okay, so we see we are moving towards option A. All of you are working towards the right solution. Wonderful. Okay, we do have a variation B. Good. Good to see some variation. So what's the logic? I see only one B. So Pradnya, would you like to share why B?
It is the first principle of technical writing to simplify the things, even though they are technical. Still, you have to simplify from user's perspective.
And
But
the
I,
you, yeah, right?
yeah.
Others, you heard her. What's your thought?
I think there's not much of writing in the API documentation. So if they don't understand the parameters and everything, you can probably give a overview of what that endpoint does and a little bit details about how they can reach that endpoint. I think that's why I chose A. I mean, rest can
Yeah, certainly.
speak on their opinion.
So what she says is simplifying content is our basic role. That's what we follow blindly. And that's very true. And what others fail is that, okay, A should be the right answer. Okay, if it is too technical, that's the user feedback. Um, Instead of ignoring the feedback, we rather, provide some kind of glossary and all, so that whatever appears technical, for that they have some reference. But because it is for technical users, if we try to simplify it from a very basic user's perspective, probably they will not like. Is that the logic in mind, everyone?
Yes, Punit. I mean, it is
Yeah.
meant for technical audience. It is built for the developers, so they will have a prior knowledge about how to use the APIs, how
Right.
to execute and how to read the document in terms of sample request payloads and curls and the commands that we put in the API document. So
Right.
yeah.
So very small example talking about API. Uh, for general user who doesn't understand API or SDK, if we give the expanded version, it's fine. But for technical users, if we are going to say API is equal to this, SDK is equal to this, will the user like my answer? Or will they feel, are you humiliating me? Am I not supposed to know this already? So, yeah. So that's where, yes. So I completely agree with this thing, simplifying, yes. But here in this particular case, I also feel simplification should not be at the kids level, which we generally say for other product documentation, where it is said that when you're writing for end user, write like standard 5 student can also understand. Fair enough. But when we are writing for technical user, that is where understanding the audience. There has been, at least in my career, there has been one or two instances where we tried to simplify, and I'm just sharing information. Pradnya, I'm not saying you're wrong. Okay, I'm just sharing experience. So this has happened with my team when somebody tried. We had one guide which was for developers, and then there was general user guide. In user guide, we used to simplify a lot. Unfortunately, in one of the releases, we copy pasted the topic to the admin, the guide for developers also. There was some overview section. We got this feedback. What is this? We are technical users. We know all this. So yeah, probably the simplification level might vary based on the type of audience. That's my thought based on experience.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
Uh,
and that's why API, SDK, and CLI docs are called developer documents.
yeah, because technically they are supposed to read it, right? So, and this, yeah,
Yes.
even in this technical documentation, sorry, not technical documentation, developer documentation, you all know there is a section called overview, right? You all know that. First, parameters and all are different things, but there is a, so in overview, if you know how API documentation works, one segment where you decide parameters and all that is for the developers. But there can be the business managers and other management team members who may read that, they will read the overview part. So for them, the overview should be simplified. But yeah, if you're writing the technical stuff, that is supposed to be for developers, so that should remain technical. And yeah, still if the feedback is it's highly technical, then yeah, add some reference where people can understand. That's what I feel is good. Of course, there are multiple approaches. And yeah, we don't have to go to that level like D, where it increases our work a lot. Probably we don't gain much in that. Okay, so that's about the decision making in general. Before we move to the next segment, apart from the samples that we had, anything else you would like to bring in from your experience, like in terms of decision making, you ever came across something which is interesting or challenging, which you would like to share?
Uh, Actually, I have a few points like for a question two and this one, the last one. For question two, obviously the B is the right choice, but sometimes depending upon the bandwidth, we may draft a rough documentation with blank topics, and then we can edit. So I think in question two, section D is also works sometimes.
Yeah, true.
Because right now where I'm working, this is a common practice because uh, they already in a thought process, like we already delivered such kind of documentation in the previous cycle. So at
Mhm.
least as a so at least they believe like when we come for some KT section or some of the knowledge section, we already have a some draft for the documentation.
Yeah, yeah, different situations and
And
different solutions. True.
yes, yes. And similarly, in this case, like the question said, obviously, it is better to add a grocery at first point. Uh, Simplified, it is a long task. It may take more times than the deliverable dates. So it we need to
Mhm.
decide whether adding a grocery will work at the time, or either we have a sufficient bandwidth, we can go in that and simplify the entire topic or similar kind of the topic. Because if we simplified the one or two topics, the other audience will come to the desk and they ask the same thing for the related topics. So we
Yeah,
need to decide accordingly.
that's a very good point, actually, right? And this is where our decision-making power, how well we can decide, completely comes into picture.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing. Any other
Philip,
thoughts?
I feel we should always keep a buffer time, because in many times, the engineering teams comes back with the last minute changes. So
Mhm.
that is where, even if we are able to complete within the timeline, you should push your timelines like maybe 3 4 days ahead, and then you commit that with our engineering, so that if there is any changes or anything to be modified in the documentation, in the user guides or in the APIs, so that will allow us to sit back and then write and review and complete
Right.
on time, so that you don't get panicked at the last minute.
This buffer time is a very important point. And if anybody doesn't know how it works, whenever you start a work, whatever urgency tag it has, you always have some time to work on it. You need to plan, right? So, and you need to plan and you need to tell someone that, okay, this much time I'm going to take for this. So this is called time estimation. So if you all are following this for every task, for every delivery, you need to estimate a time. Randomly, we should never say under pressure or randomly. We should never say, okay, 4 hours, 4 days, 1 week. We should have some estimate, some rough estimate. And this is where generally the global rule for time estimation is, if say 100% overall is the time for one particular task, can anyone tell me majority of time is allotted to what activity there? Is it writing or is it thinking? Thinking includes everything. That doesn't go for writing.
It's for
Researching, you
mostly
think.
discussions,
So
research,
research.
gathering information.
Yeah, so all this goes under thinking part. All that you do before you start writing. Okay. So now when we estimate time, generally what happens if we say 100%, so say 8 hours a day, you think something could be of 8 hours, 60% of the time technically is allotted to all this work. Pre-writing part includes whatever all you said. 30% time goes to documentation. As long as you are very clear about your style guides and all, it should be 30%. Out of then remaining 10%, reviews and then further implementation. Now this is your 100%. This is your exact time which you feel it will take. Always add minimum 10% buffer in that when you are telling somebody. So if you have estimated that, okay, it's 8 hours. If I work thoroughly through this process, it will take 8 hours. That's your understanding. Then add minimum 10%. Actually, it is 25%, but minimum 10% always add. That is where what like Kiran mentioned, it gives you always some leeway, because every time things might not work the way you want, right? So you need that buffer time so that whatever time you have mentioned, at the last moment, you don't have to go and tell, oh, I was not able to complete it, you know? So yeah, buffer time certainly is important. Thank you for sharing. So moving on, let's go to this next part. Talk detective. How do you act as a detective? What exactly do you try to find out? So here in this, every day how we work, we use multiple skills, our skills, personal skill, technical writing skills. Overall, let's call it as professional core skills and soft skills. So in this, how we will do. So what I am going to do is I have some samples, and let me see if I will be able to create rooms. We are, including me, we are 12. So I just have to see if I'm able to allot all of them. So once we, if you want, you can take a screenshot of this, okay? Because once you will go into the room, you might not be able to see this screen. That room will be timed. I will tell you the time. So 5 minutes for you to discuss. In 5 minutes, as a group, you will discuss and the room will close, and then you will be again back to this meeting room. And then from your group, you will decide one person. That person will explain whatever you have discussed. So I will be providing samples. And for that, I have mentioned 4 questions. Out of these 4, at least 3 questions, you should have the answers of 3 questions. So please take a screenshot of these questions. Sample anyway, I'll give you, okay? So any 3 questions, but it should be quick work within the group. So, and I will try to create smaller groups of only 3 persons or so. Okay? I'll create a
Okay.
group of 3 persons. Okay, we have, okay, one more 10. So 3, 6, 9. That perfectly suits. I'll create room. But before creating room, let me, this is your one scenario. And so I would say group 1. Let me paste it here so that you can take it with you. So all can access chat, right? So this is scenario 1. Just copy the entire thing. Okay, scenario 1. Then we have scenario 2. First was about the API doc. Second is what I'm sharing is about a user guide excerpt. This is one group will work only on one scenario. I am sharing multiple scenarios. Please remember that. What else? So we will be able to form 3 groups. So I will just share 3 scenarios for your group work. And if we have time spare, remaining 2 scenarios we will discuss in this group itself. Okay, so 3 scenarios are here. Let me now create the rooms. Please remember the timing will be of 5 minutes each. Okay, unfortunately, only 5 of you can be assigned. So, Angelina, Avinash, Kiran, I am assigning you to room 1. You all will work on scenario 1. Is that clear, 3 of you?
Okay.
Angelina, Avinash, Kiran. And the other room will have 2 members, Samir and Vamsi. I am assigning you to room 2 and you will take scenario 2. Okay, Samir and Vamsi?
Okay, Punit.
Okay, so you all will go and then here 4 persons will remain. Those 4 persons together will work on this thing. Scenario 3. Okay. Is it created or not? Now I have opened the room. 5 minutes will be the time. Please remember. And people who are here, 4 of you, you need to work on the number 3 scenario. You can start discussing here only. We have Anubhav, Pradnya, and Joseph.
Okay.
You need to work as a group, not individuals here.
So team, I'll just share what I feel about scenario 3. So I think ours is installing the app. Uh, the thing that we have is download the installer, run it, follow the prompts to complete the setup. And the first question is what's missing? So I would ask the prerequisites and system requirements because installer cannot be the same in all the computers that we have. And then from where do I need to download the installer? So that is missing. I would ask for the download source. And does it require any admin privileges or stuff like that to install it? So I think even that is missing. So I would ask these questions about the first one, and I would be happy to listen to what others say.
So it also says follow the prompts to complete setups. So if there are some screenshots, if there are some complex setup steps, so there are screenshots that could be added to the procedure. You can ask for that. So that is missing. And we have much more details about the app. What's its name? What it does? Brief introduction in the beginning. And prerequisites, I think those of you covered everything that is needed.
Yeah, yeah, those are good points as well. And what do you think about SME questions? So
I
I mean,
think who is going to install? Sorry, am I interrupting?
no, yes, please carry on.
I think first question needs to be asked is who is installing it? For whom installation guide is needed? Are the end users going to install that, or are there any team like support team? So that would be the first question.
Yes,
Hello.
yes, please. Yeah, and so any specific questions to the SME?
Uh, a specific question would be like if he has a demo video of installing, and if we have the access to the application, we can install it and we can see the entire procedure and carry out the procedure ourselves. So we see what our actions need to be performed, and based on that, we can write the procedure. Like
Yes, yes. And also, I would add that uh, the basic details of what is getting installed. I mean, that is not clearly mentioned in our scenario. So even that, I think, needs to be cleared out with the SMEs or with the people around there. So I think these are the things. That is, I feel that would be the fourth one. The fourth question? What's missing out? Sorry, how would you improve it? So I would add it there to at least let the people know on what they're installing and why they need to install. So I think these are the things that I have in mind.
So I think some kind of introduction is required at the start of document that we can ask SME for why this installer is required.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Last 1 minute.
Yeah, I think we covered all the questions, right?
yes, and I think last thing would be how would improve it. So we can ask for anything that needs to be done post installation, any modifications before the user start using the app, anything that would improve the experience before starting using the
Yeah.
app.
Yes, yes, exactly.
It could be just after the procedure, it could be a note. It could be something like a note, extra information, like what's next.
Okay. Yeah.
We are back in chat. Hello.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
All are back.
Yes, Punit.
Good.
Yes.
So, how was the discussion, people?
Very
Did you all
confusing.
make some headway?
Yes, it is good.
Wonderful. So, what we will do is we will go one by one. So, people will explain what they did. So, for scenario one, was it group one? Who had this scenario one? API endpoint description?
We have.
Yeah, we had.
Yeah. So
From this, actually, it is a kind of API, but it is not clear because parameter also is very limited. It's just ID, but what kind of ID it is? Response.
no, so you don't need to give me general answer. You need to give me one by one. Which question are you answering? What's
Uh,
missing? What would you
for
confuse
the,
users?
for the scenario one, we are in like get slash user return the user data.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I mean, there's a half of the information as a question, so uh, that is okay. Get user, but returns of data means what kind of the data and what are the parameter ID. That is not clear whether it is a niche type or something, or response format is also the success response format is also not very much clear to write as a writer to the end user.
Okay. So, and SME
And adding to
questions?
that,
Yes.
Punit, I mean, the details are missing in the API. For example, the sample URL is not available to the person who wants to execute that API. And then I see the sample request is missing a payload. So every API should have the sample request, sample response, and there will be a sample curl and a detailed information about what those parameters are, whether we have any required parameters or optional parameters. So the validation part. And also, I don't see, uh, I mean, like usually we will have a location as well in the table, like whether it's a path parameter or a query parameter.
So a lot of things missing.
Yeah, a lot of things are missing.
Fair enough.
You know,
So
all
that's
these are something that I will be asking the API developer or SME to
SME.
what, yeah, yeah.
Right. And did you both include this points? Question number two, is there something which will confuse users? The information that's there, is there something which will confuse users?
Because here I see the response is JSON object. It is not so clear. I mean, it is confusing. The response should be a proper response uh,
Okay,
where an output.
that's number one. There is something which is very much clear right on top, I can see. If any of you remember API commands.
Base URL is not there. Sir.
Yeah, what is not there is fine. What's confusing? What does get mean? Get users,
Get
right?
is always retrieve. Yeah.
Method,
So,
it should be written method and something.
so things like that. Okay, good. Anything else to add? Let's see some explanation. Missing, just this is for you to read. Anything here which you would probably, of course, you all mentioned a lot of points. All those might not be here. So some kind of things that can help us proceed on this when we are talking to the SME, when we are trying to complete our research, probably. Okay, agree to all this?
Yes.
Okay, good effort, thank you. And scenario two, that's group two. What's your answers?
Yeah, but first it's not written as per the tech writing standards, ordered lists, and the UI terms are not specifically, they should be bold or something. There is no distinction. So I think here click reset. Reset is at the UI term here. And also enter a new password. I think the sentence formation
So
article is missing.
authoring rules, let's say.
Authoring rules are, yeah, those are missing.
Right.
And if we were to see what is confusing, I think the users won't know which password is it, which account password is it, for which portal or which account is it. So that is confusing. And which settings, navigation is missing, where to navigate and click which settings. And maybe a screenshot is missing too. If the navigation is not there, then screenshot should be there. So that is also missing. And if you were to ask SMEs, then some of it, like which password are we supposed to write it here, and what settings, how to navigate, those questions will come for SMEs as well. And if there are any password restrictions, any rejects to be considered, and also enter a new password and confirm, and that I think should be a UI button, select or something, save or something, confirm. I think it's not a UI label. So again, if we were to simplify, we'll work on this and simplify it for the users.
Good. Wonderful. So how would you improve then? All these things you will work on to improve it.
Yeah.
Let's see. So missing, I think whatever you have mentioned, many of these points should be here already. So technically, if I say this information is useless to me if I'm logged out. It is telling me nothing, right?
True.
So, okay, good. So, yeah, so this kind of deep analysis, that's the key. So, yeah, good. Thank you. Well done. Okay, this was one scenario. We will skip right now in the interest of time. We will go to scenario 4. So, yes, team 3. Team 3, which was here. Where are you all? This was the scenario 3, right?
Yes. So we were discussing about installation, and what's missing was in it was the prerequisites. This system prerequisites. What kind of OS? Is there anything that someone needs to have before he starts installing the application? And the missing part, other than that, would be the steps. We don't have the proper steps, and we don't have an overview before we write the prerequisites, like what this application is, what I'm installing, what it does. To answer second question, what would confuse user is already in the prerequisite section. If they don't know which OS this application covers, so they won't be ready to install it, or what they need to have with them pre-configured before starting installing anything. Do they need it or not?
Yeah.
So that would confuse them a lot. And if in the procedure there are no screenshots or so they are for complex steps, so that would confuse them a lot. And what would we third question? What questions should we ask the SMEs? I think it would be the questions that I have already covered in the first two questions: prerequisite points, overview, and screenshots. And if we as technical writer have access to it app and we can run the installation on a sandbox, so we can go install it ourselves and see all the steps and then the actions and the results that we get out of it. And if anything is missing, we can add it to our procedure. And to how would we improve it? One thing was to have something post installation.
Post installation. Okay. Wonderful point.
What do we need to do after? What's next? And if there is anything that could improve before we start using the product itself.
Yeah. Wonderful point. Good. And if you have all have heard about, like, installation is of also, one is directly you can install running the installer. There is something called silent installation also. I hope if you all are aware. So all types we will need to ask the SMEs Okay. How? So whatever is related. So yeah, I think you have already explained most of these things. And yeah, sentences like follow the prompt. How do they know what prompt, what to follow? So yeah, we should be very clear. Okay, great. So these were the three things for you all to work as a group. I will have just one more run, but that we will work together. Okay, so let's do this. This is the error message. That's it. What's missing, people? It's for everyone. Everyone can join hands here. What's missing? Let's try to answer the 4 questions. You all must be aware of how to write error messages. I hope so.
We should be specific about what kind of error it is.
Yeah.
Here we don't say anything at all, and
Yep. What else?
This seems like any processing error while something trying to execute something, and in between it shows there are missing some path or some link, some reference.
Yeah.
But it is not clear whether for which scenario that error comes.
Yeah. Okay.
Says try again. So what does the user need to try? What is the solution or what troubleshooting they need to do in a simple one sentence?
Yeah, because I already tried and I've got this error message. Now, what
Yes.
do you mean by try again?
Yes.
So, so one thing I would like to add here, the way all of you are explaining. So yes, points are perfect. It's just that when you are thinking, probably you can try one approach if you haven't tried it. Before we try to think about answering something, it's not about answering here. In general, when you are brainstorming just within yourself, also trying to understand. First let's see what exactly it is. So say right now when I'm talking about error message, the first thing I should talk about is what exactly is the structure of an error message. And an error message has a structure. I think all of you are aware, right? So from that structure, what is missing here? Then it will make sure that we will be able to diagnose all the issues very clearly, because you have a picture in mind that this is the structure as per global rule, even of UX writing and what technical writing does. This is the global rule of error messages. Is it fulfilling that? Then you will get more questions. Many error message always needs some kind of identifier, because there are not one or two error messages, there are multiple error messages. Okay. And whenever we talk about error message, what is the cause? First of all, why is this error happening? Then what is the workaround with which users should try? So things like that. And of course, this message is not helping them at all. So we know the structure, then we know what is the pattern. What we say is, first thing we tell is what has happened. Then we tell why it has happened. And then we tell what's the workaround or the solution for that. So in this structure, is it fitting? So I always feel if we know all the answers, but if we first think about the structure, think about that, then our answers could be more focused. Otherwise, yes, of course, you all have answered everything. Good. So this in general was about this particular part. So when we talk about being detective, that means you are identifying things and diagnosing things. In your personal work, official work, have you come across situations where you feel There are two types of situations, or maybe more, but primarily two. One, yes, on my own, I am able to detect. Second, probably you think something is wrong, but you need help from others, maybe developers or somebody, to identify. And in that scenario, probably you're not getting that kind of help. Okay, we talk about sandbox. Many times, when technical writers ask about sandbox and all access, they will be like, what will you do with it? Because they think technical writers are not technically sound. They might not even know about how to use it. Okay. So when this kind of scenario comes in, so mostly we should reach this level where we should be able to detect maximum things on our own, unless there is a real dependency. And this is where this approach will help us first do things on our own, then only reach the SMEs with proper questions. That also helps us in building a strong relation. If we just jump into them with every questions, they are not our parents whom we just ask anything. Then they will also feel, oh, this person comes with any question without, testing or doing something on his or her own. But if you do these things on your own, then you reach out. Of course, it will improve your own result also. Plus, then reach out, their respect for you also increases. So I do feel that, yeah, we should be a good doc detective, at least from that perspective. Okay, so should we take a small AI challenge? You must have seen, and of course you must have used different kind of prompts and all. The challenge that we will have is a bit of thinking perspective here. I will show you some content. Again, you will be divided into groups, and I will show you some content. But when you identify the challenge, so say, for example, you have to identify what's the challenge. It will be great if you can come up with the terms. Yes, you will explain it in sentence, but if you say hallucination, you feel that it is hallucinating. So you say that, okay, what is the problem? Hallucinating. Where in that paragraph you found it to be hallucinating. So that way you will have to identify. Is this game clear? Is this game clear?
Yes, Punit.
Yes.
So you will have to pull the examples from there and categorize. Okay, this belongs to hallucination. This probably belongs to less clarity. This probably belongs to, something else. Okay, so here we will take, overall, we will play this game for 10 minutes, not 20 minutes. So in this 10 minutes, spend 8 minutes as a group to identify the challenge. Whatever are the challenges, list it out completely. Then we will come back, and with 2 minutes each, all of you will be basically explaining it. So what will be the challenge here? Find the mistakes, name those mistakes, and then give, okay, here I found this mistake. The spot hallucinations, clarity, what is acceptable as is and what is not acceptable. Because that's how, with AI generated content, when you work, if your organization allows, this is what your role will be of editing. Okay, so mistakes, what kind of mistakes? Hallucinations, clarity, and all. You can take a screenshot or no. I will paste this content in chat, and I will paste the this thing also, text also. It will be exactly 8 minutes thing, okay? So in 8 minutes, you will be brought back to the group here. So first, I am pasting the question. Please check the question. Copy the question, and this is the AI generated draft, which you see on screen. I'm pasting it here. And now I'm dividing the groups. Fine. All of you will work on the same thing. It's just that I want to see whose perspective is what. Okay, who is US? US is Uma Shriram. Uma, you have joined now. I am assigning you to group 2 with Samir and Vamsi, okay? Uma. One thing, and this timing is exactly of 8 minutes. In 8 minutes, please remember, it will close automatically. Okay, go ahead. And it's the same group. It's just that Uma has been added to Samir's team. And done. Get set, go. Anybody has any question before I open the rooms? All clear, right? Right? I take it as yes. Opening. And people here can start. Anubhav, Pradnya, and Angelina. Oh, Anubhav and Pradnya only. Fine. So Anubhav and Pradnya, you are here. You can start.
Yeah, we are just reading. Hello?
Yep.
I think
Yes.
first thing is what is autosync is not clear here. I mean, whether it's a installer or it used to be used in browser or it is a separate application, that is not clear, first of all. And secondly, what kind of workflows it is mentioning, that is also not clear.
Yes. So prerequisites are missing to what needs to be done here. What all the user needs to have before starting with enabling sync mode. I think that is the heading of the topic.
And firstly, it is telling it integrates your workflow. And in the last tip, it is saying it syncs all your workspace anywhere. So that is also contradictory. And third
Yes, so
thing
that
is how
is
can sync mode be used in local machine? That is also not possible, I guess, technically. When even when you are online, offline, how can you sync? You need some connection.
yes. So I think there's a bit of a promotional marketing language all throughout this draft. So in the first paragraph, it says seamlessly integrates with your workflow, with objectives like today's fast-paced digital world. So we don't use these adjectives or promotional language in technical documentation. So these are very broad claims in that sense. And to improve the clarity, we have to first structure it into a procedure because steps are like scattered everywhere in the
Surveying,
entire
yes.
document.
I mean, they have not specified to get started. They're just saying simplify, enable, but which settings? Windows settings or what kind of settings? I mean, browser settings. Where to go to find those settings for auto sync flows? That is not clear.
Yes, simply enable auto sync from settings menu, but yeah, how to navigate to the settings menu. And even in the third paragraph, it says for power users. So we are not sure as to how many kind of users will be enabling this sync mode. So we can't assume 2 or 3 types of audiences for a single procedure. And the fourth question about decide what should and should be accepted as is, I think, the last paragraph tip. We can't accept it as is because it says sync your workspace from anywhere in the app.
Okay, so time over. I hope discussions are complete everywhere.
Yes.
Great. So who wants to go first? Which group?
Samir, are you ready?
Yeah, so the first thing is that writing style, thanks to AutoSync Pro's advanced local caching engine, is a marketing term, so we cannot use that sentence. Hallucination is we're not sure whether it syncs in real time even when it is offline. So it may be a hallucinated content. It needs to be checked. And clarity, as I said, to get started, simply enable auto sync. That clarity of which settings menu, where to navigate again, that is missing, and that ordered list is missing. And the screenshots, if that navigation is required, that is also missing again. And in the third paragraph, for power users, you can force a legacy sync. The command, I don't know whether it is a Linux command or a Windows command or which environment it should be run, that is not clear. And whether these enterprise plans will cover the power users or what plans cover what users, that is not clear. So those were the things that we found. And also the tip, whether it will those keyboard shortcuts will sync from anywhere on the app, or it needs to be, we need to navigate to somewhere and then sync it.
Wonderful.
So those things we found out.
Good, a lot of points. Great, thank you. Next team. Which team wants to go first?
I can go.
Sure.
I see the ordered list. I don't see it is missing because since we are talking about instructions, so step-by-step instructions, there should be a list, an ordered list. And also in the second paragraph, what I see is like thanks to auto sync pros. Now, this is usually we don't mention anywhere in the instructions. That is something I feel it is hallucinated for me. And also because in the third sentence, for power users, you can force a legacy sync at any time by running the command. Here it is in passive. It should be in active voice. So I mean, like we'll tell the user to run the command. It should be active.
Right. So that's
yeah, that's most of the things. And app sync, these are like short forms. Either we should be mentioning like synchronization and application. Either that will be in the appendix or maybe somewhere we'll mention that part, or we'll just mention application synchronization and then we'll follow the short forms.
Okay.
Once we define in the guide and then we'll follow the short.
Yeah. So yeah, overall multiple issues related to the authoring style that we follow. It's almost not following it. That's what it is, right? Everywhere. Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you. Team 3.
Yes, I think most of the points are covered in the first two themes. So yes, authoring rules at all is not followed. And even at the heading, we don't know what it's trying to do. Enabling sync mode, and then it says in the very first two words auto sync pro. So adding the product name in the heading, we don't do that with the even bigger M dash there. So we have to have a clear headings with what the topic would be.
Right.
Like enabling sync mode would do it for us, just that. And adjectives like seamlessly integrating, simply enable today's fast-paced digital world. We don't use this in technical documents, and sentences are very complex. Running sentences, big sentences. The second paragraph itself is a sentence. And it's, I think, more than 20 words.
Right.
So we need to structure it properly when we have to write a sentence. If you're writing a procedure, so it should be first the location and then the action and the result of it.
Right.
And in the third paragraph, it says running the command with the force legacy flag. So force legacy, sometimes it could be a code. So we need to write it in a code format like monospace. So it's not clear whether it's a UI term. It's a command, so it should be in a code format, a monospace font. And the last step, sync your workspace from anywhere. It's a very broad claim. So people could be anywhere in the app. They could have installed the app also. So can't say anywhere in the app. So all these broad claims, we can't have it in the document before it is tested.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm thinking the authoring, the terminology, the presentation overall, all these form a core part of our documentation, and then it's certainly not following this. Good. Great,
And there's a
thank you. Yeah, tell
consistent
me.
terminology when it's
Okay. Consistent terminology. Where is that
yes.
consistency missing?
So
Did you?
Yeah. I
Yeah. So
think
did
they
you
are
say it's
saying first
missing?
workflow. Yeah. It is saying firstly it
yes,
integrates the workflow, and in the tip it is saying you can instantly sync your workspace.
Uh-huh. Right, right, right. Yeah. Nice catch. Good. Okay. Anything else? Cool then.
I think we're good.
Great. Thank you. Thanks to all the teams. I think great points noticed. The what we have. Let's see. So this is what I mean. All of you have mentioned very clearly different things. So my only recommendation here will be when you are reviewing, remember, probably you are already doing it in your organization if you're using AI, or else the day is not far off, then that you will have to generate content from AI, or else you will get those generated content, and your job will be also including editing of those content. So when you are editing, yes, one by one we figured out points, and probably we did not miss anything. If you will see this table, maybe you can tell me if you see something here, which is 3 points are here, and there will be 3 points or more on the next slide. But the only thing that I would like to emphasize is when you are explaining, right now we all are technical writers, it's perfect. I got really what you wanted to say. But you will have to present the case to the person who has provided you this content and said, just that English check is required, Have you heard those sentences? It's a 5 minutes work. Have you heard those demands from people?
Yes,
Just a
many
minor
times.
just a minor English check. So then the way you will respond will add more value if you brought these points that look, this is not just a minor 5 minutes work of English grammar check. And if it's just about an English grammar check, even AI can do that grammar check. You don't need to come to me. There are different perspectives which are from technical documentation perspective. And what are those things like in AI content? So these types, I would like all of you, when you are working within your organization or somewhere, try to focus on those also. All of you have mentioned the examples. You have completely done a proper read of all the sentences and everything. That's perfect. But the only thing what I want you to use is when you are talking to somebody else, you see this type category, tone. Now, undertone or filler, okay, these many changes. Clarity, consistency, these many changes. Hallucination, these many things. Unverified, missing information, and probably you can include more or fewer types. So I think probably when we present the case to someone that what exactly has, when we are editing, what has changed. You're doing a great job. The only thing that technical writers don't do is showcase to the world what exactly they are doing. So present the case. That's all I will say. Rest, I think I don't think anything new will be here. You all must have already covered it. Any thoughts, any comments? Pradnya, I see your hand.
Yes. Actually, I think what you mentioned earlier is technical editor. I think if anybody is giving me such paragraph, that editor is term is not perfectly describing what I'm working, I will be working on. Basically, I think I have to review what I'm writing. So basically, rather than editing, it can be combination of technical reviewer as well as technical editing. If I'm
Right.
taking help from AI,
Yes.
so
No,
it's just
the only
not
point,
editing.
yeah, so the only point I would add further is when you said, when I am taking help from AI. No, I'm not talking about you taking help from AI. What's happening in today's organizations, many organizations, you must have heard about these cases that developers, product managers, they are generating content from AI and they are just bringing it to technical documentation team that, okay, just edit it for English. That's actually happening in the world right now. So it's
Okay.
not this content, it's not you who has generated. When a technical writer will generate content, it will not look like this. Am I right?
Yes, yes. Surely the prompt will be very different.
Prompt will be very different. That's where your edge is in today's world. So this particular role is emerging and it's happening today. That fine, you may be writing the documents, but there will be scenarios where people will come to you with AI generated content and say, just edit it for English. So what I'm trying to emphasize here is fine. You will not say no to work, but then make them understand this is not a 5 minutes grammar check. There are so many things, like you also mentioned, technical context and all. I will need to check. Just because it is coming from AI, that doesn't make it perfect. That's what people need to understand. They will understand when we will bring in context in a proper way. That's all I need to say.
Yes.
Okay, any other thoughts, people? With AI generated content, it's a
Um,
reality and
I
we
mean,
will have
Punit,
to
there's
work.
also companies nowadays who just wants some content to be filled for a feature. They don't care whether it is AI generated or not, and that's where
Right.
technical writers are losing jobs.
Exactly. Exactly. So there
So
are,
that is happening. I mean, the layoffs are all happening because they're not probably matured enough. The documentation is not matured enough.
that's very
So
true.
yeah.
And there are all sort of companies, right? So
Hmm.
of course, that sort of companies are also there who want to save every penny wherever they can.
Yeah,
And
that's the
this whole
thing.
thing comes from this understanding. How important do you think technical writing is?
Yes.
Those who still think technical writing is important, they are somehow still sticking with the technical writers, right?
Yep.
Maybe
Yes.
the role will be, but what we have to do is, throughout my career, with whomsoever I have interacted, most of the things, most of the places and people I see, one thing which technical writers, as a technical writer, we miss is we feel shy in explaining how hard it was to do this thing. Like
Yeah, I
others,
agree.
right?
I do agree. Yeah.
So now what happens when you don't explain how difficult it is, the other person will always have this feeling, ah, anybody can do it. It's very easy. That basically reduces your respect. And this is where, wherever I meet people, wherever I take sessions, I always say, showcase. If required, stand on the top of the hill and say, hey, I did this difficult work. I mean, not like that, but there is a way to present. Like this very small case of AI generated content. Somebody comes to you, say, yeah, fair enough, but listen, this is not a 5 minutes job. There is a process involved, there are requirements, and I'll complete it and come back to you. Once you complete, then before giving them the document, tell them, look, this is how it is done. This is where my expertise matters, and that's why it takes time. That's all I want to say. So do try to tell people what you are doing. Okay. Last, this will not take 20 minutes. We will finish it fast. Okay. So here you have, we will not form group here. We will just work right here. So you have a pressure of shipping documentation, but at the same time, first of all, you are lagging time. You don't have that much time. The lacking time, not lagging, lacking time. Then the information that is coming to you is also not complete. So what would you do? How will you act? You cannot simply say, you don't have the luxury of saying, no, I will not do this work. This is too late. What will you do? Some kind of deliverable, but how? So what would you do first? What would you prioritize? And if you will work, what questions would you ask, to whom? And what documentation would you deliberately skip or defer? So let's see, this is the scenario. Your product launches tomorrow, and this is the status of your input that you have. Okay. Now, would you like to think and answer these questions, all of you? Remember, you will have to do documentation. There is no option that you will say, no, I'm not going to do it. So what's the smart approach? Take 2 minutes, think. Anybody can start if you're ready with any points.
I mean, going back to basics, prepare your own draft from your understanding and have a list of questions, and then you can ask that if it needs to be delivered, if you can answer these questions, I can complete this. That is a bit challenging again with all these, restrictions. Yeah. And also you can use AI for creating a first draft, and then you can polish it. Yes. And then prepare your questions for the SMEs.
Right. So like, if we see this, whatever you are seeing, this is what is the situation. You're not getting anything more. Okay. You just have some information. But there is documentation requirement. So yes, following our own principles certainly is the first thing we should be doing. But developers are busy. We will not get any more input, whatever we have. The screenshots not available. And this is, we are talking about a product launch. We are not even talking about a feature here, right? This kind of situation may emerge. Anybody else has any thoughts to share? It's not about giving the right answer only here. There is nothing right or wrong here. Just share your thought, whatever comes to your mind.
I think at the time of the product launch, nobody is going to read the entire document. The main component is the overview of the product, features, the basic features, what kind of the features product is supporting to the end market, the basic information, not the entire specification, but basic specification the product has. And if we have any legacy document for similar kind of the product, we can take us something from that, and rest of the document topic we can decide as a TBD, or we can put as a decided further when it goes in production phase.
That's a very wonderful point because you have less time, okay, and you have less information also, and you have very less chances of getting more information. So prioritizing becomes very important at that point of time. You can't dream that, okay, even if I am in such a bad situation, I will do everything. No, but yeah, you will have to do some justice. So prioritize, and based on that priority, whatever comes to your mind that, okay, these things must be covered, then you can act smart how to cover it fast with the available information. If you are using AI, fine, it will help you work fast.
And
Any
one
other
more thing
things?
is,
Yeah.
even if we don't have a entire thing, but at least we may have a FSD, PRD somewhere on system like conference or some with the SharePoint. We can go through those FSD and PRDs and can bring few more things into our first document that is a draft. That can also work.
Yeah, some information is there. That's what second point is, incomplete requirement. So requirements are there, and of course, some references will be there. But then you don't have the luxury of going and interacting with the SMEs at that point of time. At times, this is an interview question also. I'm not sure if any of you have got this. No developer is available to support you. And there is an urgency. What are you going to do? We can't say, okay, no developer means no documentation. No, we need to find a way out. Okay, in the interest of time, I'll just move ahead.
And one more point to add from my side, Punit, what
Yeah.
I feel is like, maybe we can reach out to a product manager or product owner who takes care of the entire, the product, launch or the related details. He should have some information where, I can talk to him, have a big discussion, and then what all information can be included as part of the documentation. So,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Product manager or anybody else whom you think might have some information. Certainly. Probably at that
And
point of time, we can also reach quality team because they must have tested the product.
And
Yes.
in my experience, in last 15 years, like I have seen, there's a very rare of the rare case when any company develop a product or a software just from the scratch. Mostly they took as a base of the previous product or previously developed software, and they make the improvement in themselves only to cater the future demand or the ongoing current demands. So
Right.
that's why it is always a good idea to check the similar kind of the product or software which previously comes in the picture, but somehow they get dropped, or neither they are still in the market, but now they are planning to replace the old product or software with the new one.
Right.
So that also
And there
can
will
help.
be, like you said, from the old product. So technically, from a documentation perspective, not technical documentation, from a reference point perspective, there will be always some document lying somewhere, SharePoint, Confluence. All you need is, fine, developers are very busy, they can't give an interview but at least somebody can tell you where are the reference documents.
Right.
Refer to that. Yes, that's not 100% complete information, but at least you have something. So there are channels.
Also to add, like if it's a new feature and new product, all the from scratch. So what you can do is to understand better, there will be a competitor, right, with the same business model. They'll be
Right.
doing similar features. So you can understand if he's evolved and if his documentation is evolved, you get a much better help there. But it may not be the same, but then you'll get an idea of what it is doing and how you can shape your documentation. So that is a good strategy.
Yeah, that gives you some perspective at least.
Yes.
Certainly. Great points. So
And
let's see. Yeah,
for
sure.
points about SME developers are not available. There are all kinds of engineers. Uh, there are support engineers, and there are QA people. So if any kind of engineer is available, they have some idea about the product in whichever way they are uh,
right?
Using it, maybe developing it, testing it, or just supporting it. So
Yeah.
we can find
QA
those engineers.
QA is a very good source. QA, even if QA says we are very busy, just ask them. If any of you know how QA works, they test the product, but they don't randomly test it. They prepare test cases. I hope all of you have heard about the word test cases. Okay. So test cases, they always ask a question. For that, on that parameter, they test, and whatever is the outcome, they will write. Okay. So this way, they are supposed to test each and everything. You can just ask, okay, give me access to your test cases. I will just read through it. So you will understand which feature, which function, which button is supposed to behave how. After QA testing, what was the result? That is another way of understanding in emergency. So product manager is there, QA is there. Of course,
Yes.
there is no replacement of complete information, but it is about thinking. Again, this whole session is about thinking. In such a scenario, if you ever get in, how you will get out? Because you will have to do something. Okay, so some pointers here on that, which I think most of the points you have discussed already. Prioritizing becomes important. Please never think that, okay, I will complete each and everything. If such is the scenario, you have restriction. You can't pressurize yourself to think that, oh, I will have to do everything. So prioritize. Prioritize based on different factors, and then think about the impact to the users. Based on that, think about your documentation. Wherever you see gaps, be explicit about it. Yes, developers could be very busy, but try to find out some way that, okay, just two questions. See, I have already read this, I have already tested it, but still here is this point where I'm not clear. So just answer this question. So some way or other, try in case it works somehow. And always think that, okay, then in this release, I will be providing this much information only, which is kind of good for users to go ahead. But then later, there will be my TBDs, okay, to be developed. And, and then I will do it later. Mention it like this. So some compromise you will have to do, but still, if you think from all these perspective, probably you will have at least some good solution. So yeah, special situations will demand special thinking. In my perspective, overall, I always feel that technical writing, although we say the word technical writing and people get the perception that it's all about writing, and then we talk about writing in English, those people in India, we can probably say who doesn't know English. Yes, there are some, but in general, who doesn't know English? So anybody who knows English thinks, okay, well, what's the big deal? I can also do it. Okay, so that's one scenario. So this is where technical writing, we also think, writing, it's just about writing. No, the main thing is about that 60% thinking. How easy your document will be, how impactful and useful your document will be. It completely comes from how simplified your product understanding is. And that overall understanding involves a lot of things which you all mentioned already. All that goes preparation part. Before writing, everything involves your thinking. And then, of course, writing also involves thinking. How do you present something? So thinking is a very integral part of our work. And this is where, if you have heard this term, technical writing mindset, this is what differentiates us from anybody else. The better we have it, today also we are talking about so much about AI, right? But in AI also, isn't it very clear if it works on prompts, the basic thing, prompt engineering is a very basic thing now in AI. But even there, how beautifully you will ask question, that defines how good an answer you will get. with being a language expert, being the expert in technical context, you should be having better expertise than others. So yeah, lot of things, but yeah, thinking overall. So here, like you all I wanted in this workshop for people to realize is that, okay, how important your thinking part plays a role. There are different situations, different scenarios, and where you should be using thinking in what perspective. And all that thinking is not mentioned here, but please remember, showcase your work. Please don't be a silent worker. Please don't think, oh, I'm doing this much work. People should anyway feel it, see it, they are seeing. Nobody does that. Showcase your work. Talk about your efforts. You're not complaining to anyone. You're just telling them that, okay, you have also done some hard work. It was not just that you just typed and finished the work. Nowadays, AI is there, so many will say, oh, you must have put it in AI and that's it. Even putting in AI doesn't give you the actual thing. There, after that also there is a lot to do. So showcase it in the team meetings, in some meetings. And even now, I think this thing we have been driving for the last 4 5 years. Many people have gone to their organizations and done this. I have done it in my previous organizations, wherever I was. I always did this. Uh, in many companies, they have this culture of different teams just having a casual session or probably a well-planned session where they showcase how my team works. Aware about that? QA, developers, they will do that. Do you know that?
Yes.
No?
Yes, yes, yes. Sir.
Technical documentation team should also do that. You are working in the organization, you have equal power. Call for a day with technical writers. Let me teach you technical writing. Call, make it fun. This is not serious. Ask all of them, sit with us for 2 hours. Make it sound positive to them so that they are learning something. And when they are doing, plan something. When they are doing, then they will realize how hard a work you are doing. So showcasing is very important for our teams, whether you are working as an individual or you're working as a team. Sitting in silos, working in silos and imagining, oh, we wrote 5 documents, 5 guides. They should figure it out. How big work nobody figures out. In today's world, it has become more imperative that we should do that. And trust me, this is not boasting. This is just showcasing so that others should also understand. And probably you can say, okay, you also learn. Anyway, they are using AI. So this is what is the power of thinking, which you all already carry. As I said, this was not about writing or anything. You already have that instinct, okay? All you need is utilize it in an organized way. Power of thinking doesn't mean think and just blurt it out. No. Like in technical documentation, when writing, presentation matters a lot, isn't it? Does it matter? Presentation, how you are presenting the content? Matters or not?
Yes, Punit.
Yes, very much.
Yes, yes, sir.
Of course,
Matters a
Right.
lot. Yes.
So I have 5 paragraphs of content. We are 8 members here. Probably all 8 of us will present that 5 paragraph of content in 8 different ways. Ultimately, it leads to readers' readability index. How easy it is for readers to understand. We use the same content, the same alphabets, the same words. We just present it differently. So when presentation matters for reading, then what work we are doing, that presentation also matters. So in communication. So when we are talking, we should communicate in a way, in a planned way, so that people should understand properly. So that's what my simple messages. I hope it may have helped you all a bit. Okay, feedback, fine. I'm not sharing any feedback form for this. This is just for you all in general. I hope you felt a bit benefited and you can take it forward and do something more great than what you're already doing. That's all from my end. Thank you. Any questions, anything before we sign off?
Punit, if we were given an option to take up an additional role, and if we are interested, if I as a technical writer interested, what can be that? What is the possible role that we can take up in a software industry? Like,
Product manager.
mhm.
First of all, it depends upon your interest also. Okay.
Okay.
Secondly, if you simply think about like that, look, as a technical writer, remember one gift we all have, which is the strongest among all, the gift of writing content. When you write content, you understand the product, right?
Yes.
So that writing content is the gift which other departments, despite their best effort, they are still not able to capture that effort. Now, this thing basically utilize it. It is useful in all the departments. Now, you need to pick your path, career path. Which career path interests you more? You may think that, okay, I love quality analyst. I love UX writing. Or probably because in technical writing, I'm doing API documentation, I'm learning languages. Tomorrow you start learning languages for API documentation. And then suddenly you realize I can give it a shot to development also. So
Depends on the
that's,
interest that we have.
yeah. So I would certainly say when we talk about, so Samir, when you are saying additional role, probably you mean tomorrow if I want to switch also,
Yes, yeah.
right? So when we are trying to switch, it should not be about, oh, this field is troubling me, so let's jump somewhere else. It should be in a planned way. Find out your interest. All I'm saying is, being a good technical writer gives you a very good platform. Any field you will choose, almost 30% to 40% you already have it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I
All
think
you need
product
is
manager also correlates. I mean, we can
very much,
resonate.
very much.
Hmm. Yes.
And now, how product managers, apart from other jobs, roles, one of the important work for product manager is researching. A good technical writer has a good skill to research, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yes, there you will be researching about something else, but it's the art. Then presenting the things, you have the writing skills. Understanding the product, you already have. A developer understands one feature of the product, and on that one feature, that developer works for years. A technical writer, in general, is forced to understand the whole product. Do we get the luxury of working on one feature for years?
No, yeah, that is true. So a technical writer has to go through all the platform changes, everything, but then the developers are segregated according to the features and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, developers, QA, everyone. So when we think about what all we are doing, we are halfway prepared for any roles.
Yeah.
And you have precedence. There are many people.
Yes.
So product manager. So if your interest is about managing product, interacting with customers, then product management, business analyst, both do the same role. In software, we work on agile, right? So tomorrow you think that project management, agile scrum is interesting me more. That is one path. Testing, of course. UX, yes. And in case you develop a love for coding, then development. There are examples where technical writers, after working for many years as a technical writer, they have gone to other companies and become developers. That's the real case example.
Yes.
So yes, all possibilities are there.
Yeah, Punit. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. Enjoy your weekend, and we will share the recording. That's all. See you all again the next time. Thank you very much for joining.
Thanks all. Thank you,
Thank you,
Punit.
sir.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank
Punit.
you.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Punit.
Thanks, Punit. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.